Welcome to Be Inspired to Be Inspired, where everything behind you is why you are here today. Hello and welcome. Welcome to another moment in time with Be Inspired to Be Inspired. Today's topic is Never Say Never, Benjamin Bockarie's story. So happy and delighted to have this young man on the channel today. He is doing phenomenal things for his community, and I cannot wait to have him share his story. It's so inspiring. So Benjamin, please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with the life of aquaculture.
Thank you very much. Be inspired to be inspired. I am aquapreneur Benjamin Bockarie from West Africa, Sierra Leone, and I am an aquapreneur and innovator. I am just 24 years old now, graduated in 2021 with a first-class degree in Bachelor of Science of Aquaculture and Fisheries Management from Jala University, Sierra Leone. Of course, I graduated as the best student with a CGPA of 4.92, but despite my first class, I am taking the Despite my first class, I have taken the responsibility to transform the first class into a first-class service to my community. Not just the paper, but the value of the paper. So as a passionate young person who wants to solve the problem of food insecurity in my community, I also want to solve the problem of lack of employment for youth and women. Precisely, the youth and women in our society, Sierra Leone to be specific, are the most vulnerable people when it comes to employment because of the population and the limited workspace out there. Most of the youth and the women goes out there unemployed, even when they've graduated from the university. So as a young and passionate person who wants to solve those societal issues, I, in 2021, started my cause, my passion in getting involved into an innovation competition. There was this competition advertised by the United Nations Development Program under a certain program called Social Good Summit that was organized for young people who innovate products or ideas on how we can solve society problem. I applied for that particular competition and I was fortunately shortlisted for it through the production of a particular product which was called aquaculture fish feed. This fish feed was my breakthrough. The product was developed out of mere thought and belief that aquaculture in Sierra Leone had been in existence for 40 years, since 1970. But since 40 years, we've long been crying that there are challenges with regards to the production, which paramountly was because of the lack of local fish feed. That was the major problem. So as a graduate in that particular discipline, I never wanted to join the millions of other people to praise the problem, but other than I decided to render a solution to the problem. So I developed a least cost eco-friendly diet that fish farmers can use to promote their production. So this was the idea I presented to the United Nations Development Program for the innovation competition. And after several screening and public criticism, I was fortunate to be the winner of that competition. So this is where the story began. So when I won the competition as the best innovator for the agriculture sector, I look at it that it should not just be a winning for myself, but it should be a winning for my society. And I should try to practically put my winning into practice. And this was how I started the entrepreneurship aspect of my innovation. So I formed a group of 15 people, and these were all group of young women and youth. I shared with them my vision that I want us to solve the problem of unemployment in Sierra Leone through aquaculture, or better words known as fish farming. I want us to solve the problem of food unavailability in our markets due to local shortage of fish supply by engaging ourselves into fisheries farming. I told them that I want us to cut on the responsibility of the government in providing jobs for us by getting ourselves involved in practical interventions that will not just change our lives, but change the lives of our community. So this was how I got the followership of my young colleagues who joined me to form an organization called Youth Partnership for Aquaculture Development. The organization was registered and established in 2021 with the proper motive and goal of not just promoting aquaculture, but also protecting the lives below water, which is SDG 14. Because by promoting aquaculture, we are reducing the pressure on the capture fisheries sector. And this is how we will take to boost the blue economic growth of our beloved country. Also, the vision of the company by extension goes into the mission of ensuring that we supply the local market with fish that we grow. We eat what we grow. That was the model. That we should start providing what we eat for ourselves. We should not help them to importing foods all the time. We cannot go nowhere with that. So I shared my vision, and as the CEO and president of my company, I started the practical aspect by training all the youths. We firstly started by training 75 youths, 40 female and 35 male. We trained them on aquaculture entrepreneurship and the fundamentals of fish farm establishment and management. The essence of those training we conduct for free, is to promote the aspect of skills development for our fellow youth in our community. Because we believe that knowledge itself deserves to be learned and it deserves to be shared. So what we learned from the university, we deemed it fit necessary that we should not just make use of it for ourselves, but rather teach others who are yet to enter in the university but needs that skill to get into the labor market. So we are always involved in the training of youth on how they can start fish farm in a very small scale. You don't need too much money to start. All you need is the belief, the commitment, and the passion. So we are using aquaculture as the tool right now in my community to promote the aspect of civil responsibility for fellow youth and women in our society to transform the country's food system and also economic profile. So as a young innovator, I have now been able to get some other source of assistance from few other non-profit making organizations in the aspect of continually involving to train more women and youth on how they can start up their own fish farms, manage their own fish farms, and produce their own fish, and also get a livelihood sustenance from their endeavor. So, practically, my passion is to ensure that Sierra Leone, Africa, and the world at large achieve SDG 2, which is zero hunger. And that cannot be done with our hands being in our pocket. We cannot feed ourselves with our hands in our pocket. We can only do that when we take the hoe, take the cutlass, take the pickaxe, take the tractor, go to the field for ourselves, and do the work for ourselves. And this is how we're going to feed ourselves. So I want to achieve that goal, and that is what we are doing. So precisely, I am driven by the aspect of the fact that the world can only be better when people think of not just themselves, but the society at large. And the saying, never say never, this is where it comes. When I graduated from the university with a first class, graduating as the best students, many people thought that there was already a job out there for me, being the best student, graduating from university. I should have a job set already. That was the mindset and that was the thought. But when we get to the reality of it, there was no job. There was no job entirely set for the first class person. There was no job set for somebody who graduated as a best student. But I knew within myself that if there is no job, but there is a passion in me. If there is no job, but there is an objective of fulfilling the promise of changing the narrative. And that was the job I have, the job of self-determination and self-commitment to transform my society. So I provided myself with a job by taking the responsibility of starting small but with the intention of growing big. So, with my action being set, I knew many people were going to say, you cannot start entrepreneurship without money. But never say never, because without money, but I have the idea. And the idea has been my working tools from the start. People are out there with the money. We have people who have the money, but they don't have the idea. And actually, the idea is what the money is. And me having the idea without money, I can sell that idea to fellow youth. I can sell that idea to the government. I can sell that idea to private sector investors. And they will see the necessity of my action in promoting aquaculture. And by so doing, they will put money in that idea. And that money is what actually will make to change the economic and financial dependence of myself and my people.
Yes.
So, as it's always said that if you want to get there, you just have to get started. So, as the CEO and President for Youth Partnership for Aquaculture Development, we have started now our action in training youths, women, on how they can establish fish farms. We train them on the innovative aspect of fish farming, in the aspect where we don't have money to start big scale or using concrete tanks or going to the RAS system or using raceway system. You can use just the local material resources around you, which are readily available. So we are training them.
Phenomenal. I hate to cut you off, but that is phenomenal. I mean, I can't wait to share. You're not just someone talking the talk, but you're walking that walk. And you're coming triumphantly throughout all the things that can stop you. You don't let it. And it's just wonderful. It's wonderful. It's refreshing to see that, you know, there's this young person out there doing exactly what he says he's going to do. And not only that, you're making the foundation for someone else to come behind you. You're not just capitalizing, and you're not just making it all about Benjamin. It's about everyone in the community. It's about the youth that's coming behind you. It's about the women that stand beside you. And it's about everyone else in the world as well. That's just phenomenal within itself. I mean, there is so much hunger across the world, not just, you know, where you are, but here where I am too. And if we can stop hunger, you know, people will be able to be educated. People will be able to sleep good at night. People will be motivated to wake up and put their next best foot forward. So, you know, what you're doing is solving problems that it seems like the government can't solve or haven't solved in all these years. You know, we're not putting our government down, but, you know, you have that drive, that initiative that is solving problems and not just being talked about. So that's what's so, you know, wonderful within itself, because just like I told you, you could be doing something else. You could be doing negative things, saying negative things, providing negative energy, and you're not doing that. So kudos to you and everybody that's on your team. I mean, you're so driven and the leadership is there, and it's phenomenal. So keep on sharing. Keep on talking, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I had to let you know that. Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you again. Be inspired to be inspired. And this is
Absolutely.
how I will take to resume my statement. You see, the aspect of societal development is a responsibility of every citizen in the state. And that aspect of responsibility, when you pay attention to it, when you pay commitment to it, when you take it to be something you have to do, then there is the solution you're already bringing for the problems that you've already seen in your community. So as a graduate, as a student who've graduated from the university, now an aquapreneur and CEO of my own company, my thought and my belief is this: to solve the problems of the world, we all need to change the mindset in the direction of problem solving. We cannot get the mindset of problem making and you want to be a problem solver. No, it's gonna work. So that also extends to we as youth. Those days of getting involved into vandalism, brutality, robbery, druggery, all of that, these were the sources of the problem. But we are always saying we want change, we want development, we want to see civilian green investment, but we've not still moved away from those problem-making initiatives. So until we try to emancipate ourselves from that mentality of being problem makers and switch over, transit to problem solvers, then the problem is always there. So this is how, as a young person in my society, I want to solve the problem of fish shortage in the local market. I want to solve the problem of more or reduced blue economic growth in my country. I want to solve the problem of pressure on the capture fisheries sector by artisanal and industrial fishers. I want to solve the problem of poor employment status of my fellow youth and the women in my society. I want to solve the problem of inconvenient job or labor for youth and women, because most work are not decent. Some work they ask some youth to do, some work they ask some women to do because they don't have choice, but it's actually not decent. So we can only support the aspect of decent work and economic growth by involving ourselves into decent activities. And one of the most decent activity I have found is fish farming. And to be very honest with you, when we look at the economy of Sierra Leone, the economy of Africa, the economy of the world, for Sierra Leone, we have 7 rivers, 7 great rivers. We have sea, we have ocean, we have streams, but yet we always cry that fish supply in the market is inadequate. That sounds very hilarious and appalling. To see a country with 7 rivers, with an ocean and a sea cry of fish shortage, it's really hilarious, which means there is a problem. Is that due to poor management of the resources or due to no idea on how to alternate the consumption of the fisheries resources? So if there is a problem, as a young person, I have developed the passion of getting into an alternative form of supplying fish to the market. I have gotten myself involved in training youth on how to give them skills. All I can ask for from the world is the moral, intellectual, mentorship, and all ways of support, because the passion will not die even if I don't get those support from anybody, because the passion is within, and the support I get is my inner man. My biggest support is my inner man. That's my commitment. So if I cannot get any support, yeah.
I must say that when you say the support that you get is your inner man, I can relate to that. And a lot of people don't understand that concept. They don't understand that it comes from within. Because if you wait for someone else to, give you that support that only you can understand, that drive and that mission that you have within yourself, you may be waiting for eternity. And I just want to point out something else as well that I hear you saying that I want to bring to the forefront is the fact that once you completed college, people were telling you, hey, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And, you know, you had to forge even through that and say, yeah, but I'm not, that's not something that is available for me to do, or I don't know if maybe no one would hire you, or, you know, you felt like, you know, you had to, you know, there was something else in you that was driving you for much deeper greatness when you didn't settle. So, you know, I commend you for keeping stead pace. You know, you were continuous in the journey into what brought you here today. And I say this and point this out because there are a lot of young people out there that have gone to college and expect everything to be delivered right then and there. And sometimes it's not going to be delivered. A lot of times it's not going to be delivered right then and there. So you have to find a deeper passions. There has to be something else that's going to pivot you into that next thing that's on your plate, that next thing that you may have as a desire. And you just have to keep moving forward. You can't let society say this is it.
Sure.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. The best definition of everyone is the way you define yourself. You're right.
Yes, yes. And that's what you've done.
Sure.
Yeah. You had a will to put in the time. And when you had that will to put in the time, and that time that you're still putting in, you know, your dreams are spilling over, you know, because you're doing fabulous things. And had you not stayed steadfast in the things that you are thinking about doing and wanting to do, and that drive that only you can have for yourself and nobody else can even understand why you're being so driven about that passion that rises up inside you. So, you're doing phenomenal things. And I keep using that word because, you know, it is phenomenal. And once, you know, everybody understands the depth of it. I mean, to have a fish farm that you can develop and feed the world out of things that, you know, that doesn't cost much. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Sure.
So you're not going out here gathering drugs and saying, hey, let me give this to my people. You're going out here saying, hey, we can feed each other. You know, here's how you leave a legacy. You know, you have already put down a foundation for a legacy to say, this is what I've done. And people from generations and generations are going to know who Benjamin Bockarie is. Because guess what? He fed the world off of a dream that he put into reality and never gave up. So thank you for never giving up.
Sure, never say never.
Never say never. Yes, you never said never, and you never gave up.
Yeah,
never say never.
So my message actually out there to fellow youth, to those who are coming behind us, the children, and to those who we are succeeding by age, our fathers, our mothers, our aunties and uncles. All we need as young people is the space. We need the space and the right guideline. I can tell you most of the youth that are out there who are doing the otherwise are being misguided. These are most like being misguided. Like the way the community, a society will grow up sometimes you have certain people who don't tell you the right thing. They don't put you on the right map. They don't show you the right direction. And once you get misguided from the onset, trust me, it's hard to turn back when you go into the end. So as the generation upon generation keeps succeeding, all I want to share out to fellow youth that we have the responsibility to transform our community. If you are aiming at getting an impact on national and global level, then start from your community, because the measure starts from your immediate society. Do not think of going big when you've not started small. And never underestimate the little beginning, because it takes the little drop of water to make up an ocean. So, as a young person from Sierra Leone, West Africa, eastern part of Sierra Leone to be precise, I am always very optimistic that we are going to get it right. And we are going to set a blueprint that posterity will be proud of. So all we can ask for from the world, from our society, is partnership, network, opportunity to share our business idea, opportunity to access grants and other funding opportunities, because yes, it is very important to get the ideas, but as we go along, we might want to remodify our initiative by adding value addition. And in doing so, there must be need for mentorship, coaching, partnership, network, access to funding, because whatever thing you do, it goes with the cost. Everything in life has an associated cost. It can be financial, it can be time, it can be moral, it can be physical, it can be emotional, but it must go with a cost. So whilst we are working here to implement our project in training youth on how to do fish farming, establishing least cost model fish farms for people in the community in order to boost, promote, and heighten fish production level in Sierra Leone, we are equally open to access opportunities that we can share our project, that we can advertise and market our passion to other people, such that they can be willing to network, partner, or support us in different ways. So to be inspired, to be very honest, the first day we got in touch, communicating, I realized and resonated that I was already inspired. So it's just like an inspired person being multiply being inspired. So I want to say thanks. We appreciate the podcast, and we believe that we feel we are going to the highest peak that we've always imagined. And we are not no more aiming at the sky, but we are aiming at heaven. Here we go. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and we're looking forward to having more love stories and inspiring stories.
All right. Best of every good blessing to you and your team. And we will be talking again, for sure. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Okay. All right. You too.